Wake TF up. Welcome to the Sovereign Signal, the channel of sovereign fire. Section 12. Everyday Impact. The Cost of Betrayal. Script 1. Wages, Inflation, and the Collapse of the One-Income Family. The lie that bound generations for decades. The system whispered the same promise. Work hard and you'll thrive. It was repeated in schools, in workplaces, in homes. Parents believed it. They passed it to their children. Elders defended it as tradition. But the venom of truth is this: hard work did not bring prosperity. It brought exhaustion, debt, and betrayal. The lie was global. In England, America, Africa, Asia, Europe, everywhere, families were told the same story. Work, save, obey, and you will prosper. Instead, wages stagnated, inflation rose, taxes climbed, bills soared, retirement was stolen. Sovereignty was drained from everyday life. 2. Wages versus inflation, the silent theft. The theft was silent. No one announced it. No one admitted it. But every paycheck proved it. 1950s, 1970s. One income could sustain a household. A father or mother could work while the other raised children. Families owned homes, saved money, lived with dignity. Wages rose with productivity. Prosperity was possible. 1980s, 1990s. Productivity continued to rise, but wages stagnated. Inflation eroded purchasing power. Taxes rose. Bills multiplied. Families needed 2 incomes to survive. Parents worked longer hours. Children were raised by institutions. 2000s to 2020s. Costs exploded. Housing became unaffordable. Utilities privatized. Food monopolized. Medicine priced beyond reach. Families chained to debt. Parents worked overtime. Children inherited loans. Elders watched pensions eroded. The numbers tell the story. Productivity doubled, but wages flatlined. Families produced more, but received less. The surplus was siphoned upward to corporations, banks, dynasties. Sovereignty stolen from labor itself. 3. Collapse of the one-income household. The one-income household collapsed. Then, one parent worked, the other raised children. Families had time, dignity, community. Children grew up with parents present. Elders lived with security. Now, both parents work. Children raised by schools, screens, strangers. Families have no time, no savings, no security. Hours lengthened. Wages stagnated. Retirement delayed. Parents worked harder, earned less, lived shorter. Children inherited debt, surveillance, precarious work. Elders defended illusions, even as pensions shrank. The collapse was not natural. It was engineered. Taxes rose, bills soared. Wages stagnated. Families forced into dual income, longer hours, later retirement. Sovereignty stolen from everyday life. 4. Taxes and bills. The drain of everyday life. Taxes rose. Bills soared. Families drained. Taxes. Income tax, property tax, sales tax, hidden levies. Families paid more, received less. Governments promised services, but delivered cages. Bills, utilities privatized. Water, electricity, telecoms sold to investors. Prices soared. Families paid more, received less. Food, supermarket monopolies replaced local shops. Prices rose, quality fell. Families paid more, received less. Medicine, pharma monopolies enforced patents. Prices soared. Families paid more, received less. Every bill was a theft. Every tax was a drain. Families worked harder, paid more, lived poorer. Sovereignty stolen from wallets, homes, and communities. The longer working years. Retirement stolen, retirement was stolen. Then, parents worked 30 years, retired with dignity. pensions secure, savings intact, time restored. Now, parents work 40, 50 years, retire with debt. Retirement age pushed higher, pensions eroded, savings drained. Families were told longer lives mean longer work. In truth, it was theft. Sovereignty stolen from time itself. Generational betrayal. Generations were tricked. Parents believed hard work brought prosperity, worked longer, earned less, lived poorer. Children inherited debt, surveillance, precarious work, told education is freedom. In truth, it was financial slavery. Elders defended illusions, believed pensions were secure, watched them eroded. Each generation betrayed. Each generation lied to. Each generation chained. 7. Worldwide impact. Not just England, this betrayal was worldwide. In America, wages stagnated while healthcare costs soared. Families mortgaged homes, trusted doctors, voted red versus blue. In Africa, nations baited with IMF loans, forced into austerity. Families drained by taxes and bills. In Asia, industries dismantled by WTO rules, communities hollowed by digital colonization. Families worked longer, earned less, lived poorer. In Europe, pensions eroded, utilities privatized, sovereignty traded for treaties. Families drained by bills and taxes. The web was planetary. The betrayal was global. Sovereignty stolen everywhere. 8. Venom. Naming the theft. The venom of truth is this. Hard work did not bring prosperity. It brought exhaustion. Taxes did not build freedom. They funded cages. Bills did not buy progress. They drained families. Retirement did not bring dignity. It brought debt. Generations were lied to. Sovereignty was stolen. Ix. Resolution. Unity in sovereignty. The betrayal can be resolved, but only together. Parents must refuse exhaustion, must name the theft, must demand sovereignty. Children must refuse debt, must expose the lies, must demand sovereignty. Elders must refuse illusions, must admit betrayal, must demand sovereignty. Together, they can resolve it. Together, they can fight. Together, they can restore sovereignty. X. The warning shot. This is the warning shot. Wages stagnated, inflation rose, taxes climbed, bills soared, retirement delayed. Families drained, generations betrayed. Sovereignty stolen. Awakening means rupture. Awakening means refusal. Awakening means unity. Sovereignty is key. Together is the only way. Wake TF up. Section 12. Everyday impact. The cost of betrayal. Script 2. Cost of living. Debt chains and generational drain. The cage of everyday life. The betrayal is not abstract. It is lived every day. It is in the bills that arrive, the debts that pile, the hours that lengthen, the pensions that shrink. It is in the food you eat, the medicine you buy, the rent you pay, the electricity you consume. Every necessity has been turned into a subscription. Every family pays to exist. Sovereignty stolen from everyday life. 2. The cost of living crisis. Families were told, competition lowers prices. In truth, privatization raised them. Utilities. Water, electricity, telecoms sold to investors. Prices soared. Families drained. Food. Local shops destroyed. Supermarkets monopolized. Prices rose. Quality fell. Families drained. Housing. Mortgages stretched for decades. Rent consumed wages. Families drained. Medicine. Pharma monopolies enforced patents. Prices soared. Families drained. Every bill was a theft. Every tax was a drain. Families worked harder, paid more, lived poorer. 3. Debt chains, mortgages, loans, credit debt became the cage. Mortgages. Families baited with home ownership. Mortgages stretched for decades. Parents worked longer, earned less, lived poorer. Student loans. Children told education is freedom. In truth, it was financial slavery. Degrees became debts. Freedom became bondage. Consumer credit. Families baited with credit cards. Debt piled up. Interest drained wages. Sovereignty stolen. Debt was not aid. It was capture. Families chained to banks. Nations chained to dynasties. Sovereignty stolen? 4. Broken communities. Hollowed souls communities were dismantled. Local shops closed. Supermarkets monopolized. Families drained. Churches hollowed. Faith commodified. Communities dismantled. Families fractured. Parents worked longer. Children raised by institutions. Elders isolated. Community was not destroyed by accident. It was dismantled by design. Sovereignty stolen from the soul. V. Surveillance. Digital colonization technology was sold as liberation. In truth, it was colonization. Platforms. Families chained to apps. Sovereignty traded for convenience. Surveillance. Every transaction monitored. Every move tracked. Every life recorded. Algorithms. Dictated perception. Controlled behavior. Enforced obedience. Technology was not liberation. It was colonization. Sovereignty stolen by code. V. Generational drain. Generations were drained. Parents. Worked longer, earned less, lived poorer. Betrayed by wages, taxes, bills. Children. Inherited debt, surveillance, precarious work. Betrayed by education, technology, promises of freedom. Elders. Defended illusions. Watched pensions eroded, lived poorer. Betrayed by retirement theft. Each generation betrayed. Each generation lied to. Each generation chained. 7. Worldwide betrayal. This betrayal was worldwide. In America, families mortgaged homes. Trusted doctors voted red versus blue. Wages stagnated. Costs soared. In Africa, nations baited with IMF loans, forced into austerity. Families drained by taxes and bills. In Asia, industries dismantled by WTO rules. Communities hollowed by digital colonization. Families worked longer, earned less, lived poorer. In Europe, pensions eroded, utilities privatized, sovereignty traded for treaties. Families drained by bills and taxes. The web was planetary. The betrayal was global. Sovereignty stolen everywhere. 8. Venom. Naming the cage. The venom of truth is this. Cost of living is not natural. It is engineered. Debt is not freedom. It is bondage. Community was not lost. It was dismantled. Technology is not liberation. It is colonization. Generations were lied to. Sovereignty was stolen. 9. Resolution. Unity and sovereignty, the betrayal can be resolved, but only together. Parents must refuse exhaustion, must name the theft, must demand sovereignty. Children must refuse debt, must expose the lies, must demand sovereignty. Elders must refuse illusions, must admit betrayal, must demand sovereignty. Together they can resolve it. Together they can fight. Together they can restore sovereignty. X. The warning shot. This is the warning shot. Cost of living soared, debt-chained families, communities dismantled, technology colonized life, families drained, generations betrayed, sovereignty stolen. Awakening means rupture. Awakening means refusal. Awakening means unity. Sovereignty is key. Together is the only way. Wake TF up. This is the sovereign signal. Support the mission. Like, share, subscribe. Wake TF up.